October 8th, 2025, Public Amenities Commission meeting to order. Can we get a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Morocco.
Here.
Commissioner Lang.
Here.
Commissioner Galassi.
Here.
Commissioner McCauley.
Here.
Commissioner Rowe.
Here. Okay, so we do have a quorum, so we can do business. Commissioner Lang, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, moving to item D on our agenda. Is there a motion to approve the order agenda?
I'd like to pull an item, please.
You want to rearrange an item? Because we haven't gotten to the consent calendar yet.
Oh, sorry. I'm ahead of myself. Yeah, F2, I wanted to.
Okay. Okay, so are you okay with the order of the agenda going through?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
Motion.
Okay, we've got a motion by,
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we've approved the order of the agenda. Moving to item E, blue folder item, additional backup materials. I do believe we do have some items. Is that correct?
Yes, we have the blue folder items that you should have received via email, but we do have some hard copy items. They're all related to the public hearing this evening.
Thank you. And can I get a motion to receive and file the blue folder items?
Make a motion to.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to item F, the consent calendar. And I believe you wanted to
Yes.
pull one. Which one do you want to pull?
I'd like to pull F2, the minutes,
Okay.
September 10th.
Any, Commissioner McCauley, do you want to pull anything?
No.
Commissioner Rowe?
No.
Commissioner Lang?
No.
Okay, I like to also pull F4 from it. So is there any public comment on items F1 or F3?
There are no public comments for these items.
Thank you. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve items F1 and F3?
I'll move to approve F1 and F3.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second.
Are you catching all these seconds and stuff? Because they're very quiet. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so those two items are approved. Now we move to the excluded consent calendar, and Commissioner Galassi, you did F2, so why don't you lead us with that?
Oh, it's just a minor change to the minutes of September 10th on the top of page 2. It was actually I who asked the question about the program rather than you.
Which question?
It was on the top of page 2.
Which
It was,
item?
regarding, I beg your pardon?
Which item? Is that H1, L1?
1 second. So,
Because page 2 looks like it's Fs.
on L1, the
Okay.
second part of L1, Commissioner Morocco asked how this year's program was able to exceed the statistics of prior years. That was actually me who asked the question.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
actually on page.
It's minor.
It's on our minutes. It's page 4 of 9, right? At the top of the 4 of 9?
Yes.
It's 4. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so that should be you.
So can we approve the minutes with that change?
I do have some things
Oh,
on
you do
that
have
that I want to add into here. So under L3, I believe, One summer reading program. Yeah, there's a discussion about the minutes from the previous meeting, so that would be on, sorry, it's on F4. So under that section, it said that I asked a series of questions to the Community Development Director, Mark Weiner, which I did not feel were reflected in the minutes. And since I believe that the minutes that we have are our minutes, and I did, just so it says that I was going to do amendments. I did amendments, sent them off to the city over a week ago, I believe September 30th. I would like you guys to receive and file this so that when it comes up again on the agenda to approve the August minutes, that you at least have the ability to read them. So I'm going to pass them down. And for the sake of disclosure, Commissioner Lang actually reviewed them, and I did send a copy over to Commissioner Galassi as well. So if we could get a motion to receive and file.
Make a motion to receive.
Can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so this is not us adopting it, it's basically putting it on, so when it's presented to us at the next meeting, hopefully it'll be part of that. Okay, so now, can we get a motion to approve the minutes as corrected for September?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? All right, is there any public comment?
There are no public comments for this item.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so those are approved. Now we go to item F4 that I pulled. And Ms. Orta, do you want to talk a little bit about your report?
I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I don't know if you have any specific questions or if you wanted an overview of the report itself.
Yes, I do have specific questions, so give me a second to get past the library report. So we've had on our agenda previously the Park Ranger program, and I believe in May it was brought back up to that it was going to come back in a couple months, and it still hasn't. What's the status on the Park Ranger program?
We as staff have decided that that would be best suited for that larger conversation on subcommittees because specifically that was a discussion on whether to develop a subcommittee for Park Ranger program. And so the commission, through other discussions, has decided that it wanted to have a much larger discussion on subcommittees as a whole, look at what's currently developed versus what maybe some other needs are. And so we have that tabled on our side, and we'll bring that back for that larger discussion.
Okay, and also there was a park dedication on September 30th for Redondo Park. I don't recall us hearing about it until actually a couple days before that happened. When does something like that get planned, and when does it get communicated to us, since we are taking over the parts of the Rec and Parks Commission?
So for that event specifically, our team actually wasn't too involved in that event itself. So I don't know, I can't speak with certainty on when the event details were finalized. So if you were not informed of that, I do apologize. We do try to inform you of anything that is Parks and Rec related, especially openings. Certainly those are critical, especially for you guys. So I apologize if you weren't aware of that, but I know that that event was put together rather quickly, but I don't think it was, less than 2 to 3 weeks. So there certainly was an opportunity to provide notice.
Are there any programs or anything that was produced for that event? Like a dedication program?
Do you mean like the actual handout for the event, a program? I don't know. I would have to. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it to the event that afternoon, so I don't know, but I can check and see if you would like me to see a copy of one.
Yeah, if it was, can you distribute it to us as well?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question, I got communicated by the person who's been trying to get the Riviera Park plaque in there, an email that you wrote that basically said that the city still has to figure out whether the language is appropriate, even though we did have a vote on it that said
Sure.
we wanted to move forward with it.
Yeah.
Where are you in the process?
Yeah, we certainly have no intention of changing the content, but we want to make sure that the information has gone through some historical accuracy testing. We want to make sure that the information is there. There's also some room in there that, let's say it mentioned a date that's a historical event happened. We would like to add a little more context to that and actually add, for example, the year. I think that's much more memorializing on a memorial sign in a park. And so that was my intent in my email to the applicant, that we certainly don't want to change anything. We just want to do a full run through the information and add any extra contextual information if we can.
I'm not clear as to why when Commissioner Lang was doing all the cleanup on the language, you couldn't have proposed that at that time.
Well, at that time, that was just an effort between the Commissioner Lang and the family. So we certainly were the ones that shepherded it back through the commission, but we were not involved in that direct process of reviewing that language at that time.
Okay, so you think that'll be wrapped up when approximately?
Unfortunately, I can't say. We do have a number of other projects that are going on, but it's on our list. I can't give you any definitive, but we would like to get that wrapped up soon. I know that the family has been anxiously waiting this project for a number of years, and so we certainly want to get it wrapped up soon.
Because I'm getting the emails from them, and I'm keeping them from emailing you all the time. So the sooner would be better.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have on F4. Does anybody have anything else to add on F4?
Can I ask one question? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so you guys said, or you said that Parks and Rec was not involved in planning that. Who would plan that? Is it the?
That event was planned by our Public Works Department. I think they were taking the lead on it. And then I obviously with support from the city manager's office.
So moving forward, if there is like a event at a park, since Public Works does the maintenance, are they the ones that would mostly plan it, or is it?
Not necessarily. Every event's a little different. For example, the Wilderness Park Lower Pond project, the groundbreaking we did, our team did that event. So it really just kind of depends on what the event is there to do and the purpose of it. And for that one, it just was assigned to Public Works Department.
Okay. If I could make a request that moving forward, if you guys do have an event, if you could email the commission, that would be great. Because I think I missed the Lower Pond dedication. I didn't know that was happening. So.
It was in the newspaper after fact. So.
But yeah, that would have been, it would be great to attend if you
Sure.
have the option. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any comments?
I did attend the groundbreaking. I had actually spoken to Councilman Abaji beforehand because I noticed that the mayor had posted it on Facebook and invited the public on Facebook. And then I realized, that you guys wouldn't know about it. So I did speak to him and he did speak to staff. And that's why we wound up getting an email, albeit a little bit late, but at least it went out. So I want to recognize the fact that, he jumped on that and realized that, yes, we should have been there. And it was nice. It was very nice. And excited for the project. Did you want to update now or at when we're talking about committees regarding Alta Vista and Franklin Park?
I can, I suppose since it's a Parks and Rec item, although it's not in the consent item, but I can certainly do that now. But so for Franklin Park, as you all know, the City Council allocated about $500,000 to redo the playground at that location. We're keeping the same footprint, but just replacing the playground structure. We have met with our subcommittee, actually our subcommittee here, I should say, has met with the stakeholder group. So we have Commissioners Galassi, Lang, and I believe Commissioner Caldwell is on the subcommittee as well. And we are at the stage now where we've refined the playground equipment itself, and we're kind of finalizing and fine-tuning both the colors and the full layout. So we have connected with our playground manufacturing company, and they're producing some more 3D renderings as well as a fly-through video so that we can kind of get a better feel for what it would look like. It is a fully accessible playground, and so since this will be the first one of its kind in Redondo Beach, we want to make sure that the stakeholder group feels confident in the equipment that we're selecting. So our company, actually, we connected with them late last week, and so they're still working on that. So we will get that to the stakeholder group very soon. So we're super excited for that progress. And then for Alta Vista, we've gathered the quotes that we need for the resurfacing. So just a quick reminder, that will include full court resurfacing of all 8 of the existing tennis courts at Alta Vista. One of those tennis courts will become for pickleball courts. So for that project, we did receive 3 quotes. Unfortunately, they're coming in a bit higher than what we had received last year when we received the funding allocation for it. So we're taking a closer look at the quotes to see if we can pull anything from them, see if we can kind of get those quotes a little bit lower, in the hopes that we won't have to go back to council to ask for additional funding. So we actually have a meeting with our team tomorrow afternoon to discuss those quotes in a little bit more detail. On a separate vein with that, we do have the sound mitigation blankets that we're purchasing for the western fence line of that tennis court that will become the pickleball court. Our team, that's a completely separate purchase, a separate funding pot of money, if you will. And so our team has already finalized that order, and I believe is either ready to order or already has ordered that equipment. Our staff can install that, so as soon as it's arrived, we'll try and time that installation with when the courts are ready, or if that should be installed before, so we don't have the heavy machinery on the brand new surfaced equipment, or excuse me, surfacing. So we'll time that appropriately. But both projects are moving forward. Unfortunately, the quotes are just taking a little bit longer because the prices are a little higher than we anticipated, but we're hoping for some good news there.
Do you anticipate that, we're still on track for perhaps December?
I would hope so. I don't see why not unless weather delays, but I think we're in somewhat good shape. So hopefully tomorrow we'll know a little bit more, and we'll circle back with you all at least by the next meeting and keep you on track with that project.
Thank you.
Of course.
Can I ask one question about that? So did you say that you were resurfacing 6 courts altogether and just 1 pickleball court?
No, there's 8 tennis courts there currently. We're resurfacing all 8 courts, and one of those 8 is being transitioned into a 4 pickleball courts. So we're really still resurfacing 8 courts. It's just one of those courts, instead of reapplying the tennis court lines, will become 4 pickleball lines.
Okay, so then that's what council approved, is because I think we asked for the pickleball court, but
Yeah.
instead they approved all the courts.
It was a separate ask of staff at a budget. I don't know if it was this year or the year prior. And so we actually delayed the resurfacing of the courts in anticipation of the council giving us direction on the pickleball, because we didn't want to resurface it all and then have to repaint if we needed to. So the full resurfacing of the courts was a separate request of staff because of just ongoing maintenance and upkeep needs. So we're just aligning those 2 projects.
Okay, so there's probably enough money for the pickleball courts to be resurfaced, but you're like the other
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
There's definitely enough for the pickleball courts, but for the full resurfacing, which some courts are in desperate need of resurfacing and refresh, so.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Rowe, you have anything? I have 2 more questions, since we've talked about Alta Vista and the other park. Dominguez Park, I know you were involved with the whole process of opening it up. Where is it with the county now? Are you involved in it still?
I am personally not too involved in it at this point. The last update I heard was that our Public Works team was meeting with the county to make sure we can meet the requirements to get the park opened. I have not heard an update on how those discussions are going, but I know that it is part of an ongoing discussion with them.
And is the lead Mr. Wingy?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And then my last point is, and you can see it on page 31 of the materials, Your docent is doing fantastic jobs with the graphics of promoting the museum. There's one out, this one in here, which is really nice, and there's one out in the hallway, which is also really nice. So please send my gratitude for them doing an amazing job.
Well, thank you. I'll definitely send that through
Okay.
Jack and his team. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay, so can I get a motion to receive and file the report?
Motion to receive and file.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any public comment?
There are no public comments.
And by the way, if you guys have public comment, you're welcome to come up too. So I'm looking at her because it usually comes then via email, and we usually don't have a big audience like this. So, okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so that passes as well. We're receiving it, filing it, and that should take us to the conclusion of the consent calendar items. We move on to item H, which is the public participation on non-agenda items. Is there anybody, well, do we have any cards? Okay, well, you're welcome to come up. We take people in the audience first. The podium goes up and down as you need it. And I think we have a clock here for 3 minutes on your part.
Okay, I don't think I'll need 3 minutes. I'm here to talk about the Ann Baker Historic Home. I don't know if any of you have ever had the pleasure of touring it during Christmas times when she would open it to the public, but it was absolutely a delight. She just passed away last year. A couple of months ago, I was walking my dogs through the neighborhood and saw a sign out front, a public notice, that whoever now owns that property wants to tear it down and build a duplex. Took a photo of it, and I wanted to share it in my community group on Facebook, and then I forgot about it. Unfortunately, that deadline of August 20th passed, so I'm not sure what was resolved in that public hearing, but I wanted to come and speak to you today because Commissioner Galassi had said that it actually is on the, what did you say, the historical register?
It's on the list of resources, historical resources. It's not, it hasn't been designated as a landmark property.
Right. When you would go to her home, she had some photo albums out in the back that you could read, and I took some pictures of them, and one of them included an article that was written contemporaneously, and I wanted to read you how it concluded. My kids are interested in the antiques. They bring their friends here to give them a tour. Once when, and she was going by Mrs. Hanson at this time, I'm not sure where the baker came in. She's quoted as Mrs. Hanson here. Once when Mrs. Hanson suggested dividing the antiques between the children, they didn't want her to break up the collection. Quote, one of my sons wants the house to be kept intact and be declared an historical landmark, end quote, Mrs. Hanson says. I also have a comment that someone left in my Facebook group that I wanted to read into the public record on her behalf. Her name is Jennifer Corbin, Korban. And she writes, historic properties have local and state preservation laws that protect a property's historic integrity. Please save this home from developers. Our neighborhood doesn't need another overpriced townhouse. And also that made me realize, I apologize, I don't think I introduced myself properly. Jill Clausen, Redondo Beach resident since 1994. And I'm just hoping that perhaps there's something that this commission can do to prevent that home from being demolished, because it's really just such a landmark here. Thank
I
you.
do have a
Appreciate your time.
question for
Yes, sir.
you. You said that it's been approved for
I
demo?
don't know.
Oh,
I took a
was there a public hearing, you
There
said?
was a public hearing notice on a stake on the front lawn. The public hearing was scheduled for August 20th.
Okay.
I had taken that picture before that deadline, of course, otherwise the sign wouldn't have been there. But I forgot about it. And it wasn't until I was cleaning my phone out to make some space on it to download an
We're
app.
at time. Do you want to extend?
I'm asking the question, so
Okay.
she's just
Go ahead.
responding to the question.
Yeah, I saw the photos there. I thought, oh, shoot, I forgot to save this at the time. Well, I guess I'll just make it a rant, if you will, that how I'm tired of
Okay.
us losing these historic homes And that is when Commissioner Galassi reminded me that there is a register, that there is some kind of a listing for this home on, and perhaps there is still something that can be done if whatever they wanted to do was approved on that August 20th public hearing. I don't know the results of it.
Well, we have the people over here from the Community Development Department. Was that part of Planning Commission approved it?
No, August 20th would have been a project that came to this body. That was a Wednesday. So
We didn't vote to take that off of the registry, so.
I didn't catch the address. What's the address?
Oh, hold on one
218.
second. I will.
218 Hilberta?
218 South Alberta Avenue, August 20th, 25 was the comment deadline.
Oh,
Application request consideration of an exemption declaration at administrative design review to permit the construction of a 2-unit residential
okay.
development on property located within a residential R3 zone.
Is there a hearing date with that?
no, it's not. There's not. That's an administrative design review process that we go through for developments of 2 to 15 condominium units. So
So it's going to come back to us to take it off the registry if that's.
it's not on the registry. Or let me say this, it's not subject to the preservation ordinance.
No.
Based on its survey. Based on the survey designation, it must be a C or a D or something, and then as a result of that, it doesn't fall under the purview of the preservation ordinance.
So it has to be an A or a B. It has to be rated.
Correct.
And that's just the visual survey,
Correct.
right? Or the street, whatever they call it, the street.
Yeah, and
view.
that's the way the ordinance is structured now, so there's,
I know she didn't want, while she was alive, didn't want it to be a historic landmark for whatever reason, but I guess we'll take a look and talk with you guys about that at some point.
yeah, we can certainly
Might already
provide an
have the
update
permit.
on it, but it's, or some background, but that's what I'm assuming is the situation. And that's how that
I know my
That was
speaking
an
time is up, but may I ask a
administrative
question?
mhm.
Yes.
Based on what I understand now, this part of that process was, will there be opportunities for us in the future? Will it come before the planning commission? Will it come before your commission where we will then be able to speak and say,
So-
no, our comment is no?
Yeah, so what I would recommend to you as a concerned citizen is you can actually go on the city website and you can look up what the historical, like the survey was, and you can see if the property was rated an A, B, C, D. I don't think that goes beyond that, but, or maybe even D. But if it's an A or a B, then it will come through the Preservation Commission, which we will hear it here, and we get to ask questions, and there'll be a report, and that's the opportunity for the public to come in. So, but if you see something happening and you're concerned, I would recommend starting to ask questions, call the city, look up that survey, and you can always email your council person. I don't know if you can probably email us too, I'm not sure, but yeah, that's what I would recommend moving forward.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
So it is a C rating because I did look it up. I did
What
stop
rating?
off, it's a C rated.
Okay.
It's a C-rated property, but that's not to say that it can't be examined by this commission. As a matter of fact, on the city website, on our city website, there's a historic context statement, and one of the bullet points, right, under the historic context statement, which serves as a framework into which the city's cultural and architectural resources may be placed and interpreted for the future benefit of the community at large. This context statement also serves as the foundation for, and one of the bullet points says, the reevaluation of building ranking, including the larger percentage of buildings currently holding a C ranking. So, So to me, that says that just because it has a C ranking, it doesn't necessarily, I was told that it was an administrative decision. However, according to this historic context statement that we have here, I think it merits some more discussion.
I just
for
want
us
to
look at.
interject and
Yeah.
just say that since this is not on the agenda,
Yes, thank you.
we can certainly follow up with you.
Right.
Staff would be more than happy to, and certainly what some of the commissioners said as far as reaching out to elected or appointed officials, we'd be happy to follow up with you offline. But we appreciate your interest in coming down and expressing your concern. Thank you.
That's what I wanted to say, is that we
Okay.
should agendize a discussion on this particular.
Okay, we'll bring it
Thank
up
you.
when we get to that part of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
I saw your post, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
Good looking house.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The inside.
Thank you, thank you.
All the wood appointments and everything, it's all interiors historic too. It's not just the outside. They never did any of those modern,
I think we got the message
Renovations,
from
right?
our liaison.
Yeah,
We're
thank you.
supposed to move on to the
Thank you.
next
Thank you.
person. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to address the commission? Okay. Anybody online?
Yes, there is one person online,
Okay.
but they haven't left any comments.
They raised their hand?
No.
Okay, they have not raised their hand, so it indicates that they're probably going to maybe raise their hand for comment at another item.
Okay. So that looks like it's all the public participation on non-agenda items. So now we're moving into, and do we have any e-comments or anything like that?
The e-comment we got was from her, the woman who just spoke.
Okay, and that's going to be available for us to look at?
Yes.
Okay. Item I is the ex-parte communication. The section is intended to allow all officials the opportunity to reveal any disclosure or ex-parte communication about the following public hearing, which is set forth in item J. Starting with Commissioner McCauley, do you have any ex-parte communications to disclose?
No.
Commissioner Galassi?
I do not?
Commissioner Rowe?
No.
Commissioner Lang?
No.
Okay, and I don't have anything either. So now we're going to move to the public hearing. And the recommendation, if you look on the agenda, is to open the public hearing and receive testimony, receive and file all documents and correspondence on the proposed project. That's item number 1. Is there a motion to open public hearing?
I move to open the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're now in the public hearing. I do have a question for staff. When you do this at the Planning Commission, do they actually put the witnesses under oath?
We have, yes, we have.
Is there a recommendation to do that here?
Yeah, that's, I would recommend doing it just to be safe.
Okay, I don't know which of you two are going to be the ones that would, anybody who's going to be giving testimony today, can you please stand? What?
If you plan to speak,
Okay,
and then do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? On the matter? Thank you.
okay, great. Okay, so we start off with the staff report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Sean Scully, Planning Manager. I'm going to turn the item over to Sean O'Rourke, our Associate Planner, who has processed this project and has a presentation for you tonight. Also, we have the property owner, the property owner's architect, and her contractor here available tonight as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
The microphone. All right. Thank you, members of the Public Amenities Commission. This item before you is an application for a certificate of appropriateness for the repair and rehabilitation of a landmark property at 519 South Catalina Avenue. A brief overview. The property at 519 South Catalina was constructed in 1913. It was listed as a potential historic resource in the 1986 survey and later designated as a local landmark by the Preservation Commission on May 4th, 1994. The minutes from that meeting note that the home was built in the Craftsman architectural style with features that include a prominent centered gabled dormer, exposed rafter tails, triangular knee braces, and a full-width porch supported by elephantine posts on brick piers. The municipal code requires a certificate of appropriateness for the alteration, restoration, demolition, removal, or relocation of any exterior improvement or architectural feature that is either a contributing characteristic of the resource or is visible from any public right-of-way. The applicant proposes a like-for-like replacement of the structure's siding, doors, roof, and front elevation windows. On the sides of the primary structure, the applicant's plans show casement windows. However, as noted on the bottom of this slide, condition number 13 within the resolution states that, quote, all new windows are to be like for like / to match existing in terms of materials and design, wood double hung, end quote. The applicant also proposes to repair and restore the existing brick chimney, brick foundation, front porch brick cladding, roof rafters, rafter tails, eaves, wood posts, column caps, brace roof rafters, cement stairs, and front porch railings. The applicant plans to add new windows on the sides of the primary structure as shown on the proposed plans and discussed on a later slide. Additionally, as noted within the administrative report, the property contains an unpermitted shed and an unpermitted accessory dwelling unit. The proposed project is conditioned to obtain all required permits for the legalization of the existing accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, and the removal of the unpermitted shed structure. The existence of the ADU is regulated by state housing law and, as proposed, is not within the purview of this certificate of appropriateness. Now, these photos have been provided by the applicant, and they show the primary structure. These photos, also provided by the applicant, show the rear of the primary structure. These photos show the garage and the previously unpermitted living space at the rear of the property. The plans on the next 3 slides have been provided by the applicant and demonstrate the proposed project. These updated plans provided by the applicant are included as a blue folder item. This, this slide shows the front elevation that is visible from South Catalina Avenue. It details the characteristics that would be replaced like for like, including wood siding, windows, window and door trims, and a new front door that would be custom made to match the existing front door. This slide shows the north elevation. As noted in the administrative report and shown on this and the following slide, the applicant proposes windows along the 2 side elevations of the main house that would be moved slightly, or in some cases removed, to align with the remodeled interior space. The altered window locations on the side elevations are only partially visible on the north elevation of Catalina Avenue, or the front of the primary residence, and are not considered a significant alteration to the character-defining elements as viewed from the public right-of-way. As noted on the slide, the applicant's plans, propose casement windows. However, condition number 13 specifies that, quote, all new windows are to be like for like / to match existing in terms of materials and design, wood double hung, end quote. This is the other side of the primary residence. This is the south elevation. This slide shows the west elevation and the rear of the primary structure. This slide shows the accessory structure at the rear of the property. The same conditions for rehabilitation and restoration would apply to the exterior of this structure. The municipal code details the criteria for the approval of a certificate of appropriateness. For a landmark, this includes conformance with prescriptive standards adopted by the commission A requirement that a proposed project not detrimentally alter, destroy, or adversely affect any exterior improvement or exterior architectural feature, and a proposed project retain the essential elements that make the resource significant. The prescriptive standards refer to the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation of a historic resource, and the definition is included on this slide. For each of the identified Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation, a detailed description supporting each finding is included within the administrative report and the resolution. The property would continue to reflect all of the character-defining elements that have existed, and the proposed rehabilitation and repairs would retain characteristics of the craftsman architectural style. The second criteria requires that a proposed project will not, quote, will not detrimentally alter, destroy, or adversely affect any exterior improvement or exterior architectural feature, end quote. The proposed scope of work and the proposed conditions of approval within Section 3 of the resolution that require that the applicant use like-for-like siding, windows, and other materials would ensure that the proposed project would not adversely affect any exterior improvement or exterior architectural feature. The third criteria requires that a proposed project would, quote, retain the essential elements that make the resource significant, end quote. The essential elements of the resource would be retained, as the character-defining features of the landmark would be refurbished or replaced in kind. The granting of the proposed certificate of appropriateness would permit deteriorated exterior materials to be either repaired or replaced with like-for-like materials and designed to preserve the character-defining elements of the existing structures. The proposed project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, as projects involving the maintenance, rehabilitation, restoration, preservation, or reconstruction of historical resources are categorically exempt, provided that the activity is consistent with the aforementioned Secretary of Interior standards for the historic treatment of historic properties. Staff recommends that the Commission approve the CEQA exemption and the certificate of appropriateness for this project. This concludes my presentation. Staff is available for questions, as are representatives of the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions to staff before we go to the applicant?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So which of the windows is being removed on the north elevation?
Let me go to that slide and we could work through that.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, Domingo, correct me if I'm wrong at any point. See if you could see my mouse here. Are you able to see the mouse there, Commissioner? Mm-hmm. Great. So I'm really testing my eyesight here, but
same.
These two rear windows, is that correct, Domingo? Thank you. And then this window here, that is, I would say, is about 3/4 or 2/3 of the way towards the rear of the structure. The front of the structure is to the left of this slide.
So those are going to be moved from, or just added? I'm not understanding. They're all together new, as in they weren't there before, or we're removing something?
Yeah.
We do have it's shown actually on the, I want to say the floor plans. It'll show existing windows. So maybe we can go, if you give us a second, we can pull up the plan set and then we can go through that.
Sure, give me 1 second.
go to the existing.
Mhm.
Okay.
So here's the existing first-story floor plan here
Okay.
on the right side.
So it looks like bedroom 1 is where those windows would be. Am I right? If I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah, let me zoom out a little bit. It's hard for me to see.
Yeah, it looks like, how many windows do we have? 1, 2, going from the east, the front of the house to the rear. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it looks like 2 in the back portion, or maybe 3. So 7 windows total. And what do we have on that elevation now? If you go to the proposed, you'll see the interior floor plan.
Thank you.
And see if you can scroll up to the front a little. Yeah. So 1, 2, the one in the stairwell goes away on the first floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like the same number is retained. So 7 and 7. So they're just moving the windows to accommodate the different floor plans.
This picture, you can kind of see the windows that are existing. Existing, yeah.
Which is that the side?
Yeah, it's the,
Where the meters are?
Yeah, I could bring that up.
Is that,
Yeah.
Bear with me one second.
so it looks like one of the windows was smaller and is now going to be bigger. And then the other two look like they're at about the same spot. Is that correct?
Sorry, was this the correct slide that you were just holding up the photos
No.
from?
one down?
No,
The
next
go
one.
to yeah, that one.
Right
This
there.
one here?
So the
Top
one on the left,
Yeah.
where the meters are,
This one
those are the
here.
windows we're talking about? Yeah, okay. That's what I
Yes,
wanted to
that's the
understand.
north side of the structure.
Okay. And so in regards to the siding, so the main house will retain as much as possible of the original siding, and they're going to replace some siding with new wood siding. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correct?
That's the condition of approval that staff has applied to the
Okay.
project.
And then the
we can-
hardy siding is just for that ADU in the back, garage slash. ADU.
It's not, well, is that hardy siding that's on there now? Because it has to be, whatever has to be replaced has,
I'm not sure what's on there.
I don't believe it is. Yeah, it's wood as well. So it'll be wood on the rear structure as well.
Okay, because I think somewhere I saw that it said hardy board.
That was the older plan,
Okay,
yes.
okay. All right, got it. Thank you.
Anybody else have questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking at the updated plan submission, and I was looking at the window schedule. So I think in the report, it mentioned like for like, and the windows are double hung. And so I see that on the updated submission, they changed the 2 front windows on the second floor to double hung, but then it appears that all the other windows are casement windows.
That's what the applicant is proposing. It's conditioned that they're all double hung and all wood, the replacement windows. So
Okay, but they,
that's a distinction between the plan that the architect provided and the conditions of approval. And they would have to comply with the conditions of approval.
okay, they just haven't updated the plans to reflect that?
Well, they updated the plans, but they are proposing, so they have an alternative proposal to do the casement windows on the side and rear elevations. So staff is recommending that they're wood and double hung all around. So that's what's the resolution before your body to decide upon.
To decide if we're okay with their proposal?
What
Or
was that?
We're hearing their proposal or your recommendation to?
The resolution with the conditions of approval is staff's recommendation. the plans are consistent with staff's recommendation on the front elevation, but the window types on the side and rear elevations are what the applicant is proposing. So there's a discrepancy. So you can,
Okay.
we do have a slide that shows the actual materials and the detail of what the applicant's proposing. So it's up for the commission's determination as to how they want to proceed with that.
Okay.
Mr. Commissioner Rowe?
Yeah, question. Great presentation. Good to meet you. Hey, would you mind going back to that second or third slide that had the list of the replacements and refurbs?
Absolutely.
I just want to drink that in real quick. Maybe
Sure,
just-
I know there was a lot of text there.
Not that fast. I just want to drink this in here. Let's see.
Sure.
So how much of the brick foundation are you going to actually have to are we losing? Just curious. Just the bricks look wonderful. I hope they're not all destroyed bricks. Are a lot of those going to be replaced, like the columns you see on the front? You know, the 4 columns going up, are those going to be retained? I'm just curious, because it says, obviously, you're going to restore some of the brick foundations.
They would be.
So the bricks are kind of shot.
Those are to be repaired.
Yeah,
And
I'm just
restored.
curious.
Yes.
You can't really tell if these bricks are chipped up
Yeah.
or beat up. They look beautiful from here, but I think beautiful house. I just wanted to say I like it so far, so appreciate that.
Anybody else? Okay, I just
A
have a couple
second, a second
questions.
question.
Okay, can I just?
Go ahead.
Are we supposed to have the actual application in front of us? Because I did not see an application from the applicant in the packet.
Yeah. We can provide that. It's not required that we bring that to the body. The application is the plans, and there's very little information on the application. We've gone to a new application through our portal. So it just has a description of the applicant's proposal, but all that information is on the plan set.
Okay.
And if I may just add one thing, it's that it's been an iterative process working between staff and the applicant team to try to get to a proposal that we thought was compliant with the municipal code.
Okay, and I have one other question. So this was approved as a landmark in 1994. And I'm assuming based on our prior conversations with the community development director, that there probably was not any post-landmark inspection of the property?
Probably not, no.
And is this coming through us with the expectation that there probably will not be a post-conclusion inspection of the property?
Oh, there would be.
Okay.
With the permit issued, there'll be multiple inspections.
Okay. Go, you had some more questions, Commissioner?
Oh, I just wanted to circle back to the windows. So how much of that side view is visible from the street?
You know, I went out there today just to look at that, and you can, from the sidewalk, you can see the as far back as the 2-story portion of the main residence, and beyond that, you really can't tell. The south elevation, you can't see at all.
Right.
You can see the trims and the molding surrounding the windows, but you can't see the windows.
And
Yeah, it
that's-
looks like there's a house
Yeah,
right there. Looks
Yeah, it's
really
just-
close.
curious what the view from the road
Pretty
was.
tight.
And can you confirm that this house does not have a Mills Act contract? Because I'm not sure what's
Correct.
posted, what's posted on the city website is up to date.
Yeah, it does not have a Mills Act.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Do you know why?
I don't know why any landmark property wouldn't have one.
point,
Because
yeah.
of the benefit.
Right. But their
So-
property taxes are probably really low to begin with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's probably the reason. Now, currently, this would be something the property owner might want to consider, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
New property
Well,
owner.
just looking at the Google view, that at least this first window is definitely visible from the street. And let's see, I think that's proposed casement. And those casement windows look very different than a double hung wood window.
I think there are trees in the way.
Yeah, right here. Oh, shoot, hold on. So do you have that slide with the material, the picture of the materials? Maybe?
Yes.
If it's handy, we could take a look at it. And I think the only reason you can really not see the other side of the house is because there's a bush there. And so, I mean, is that, the neighbor can cut that down at any point. So you will have a side view.
Yeah, you could in the future, if somebody were to remove that bush. I think it's on the neighbor's property, the bush.
Yeah, right.
Can I move to taking testimony from the applicant at this point? Anybody still have questions for staff? Okay, can we have the applicant or the applicant's agent?
Good evening. Hi, my name is Domingo Tolia. I'm the architect who's working with the new homeowner, Pamela Sadler, on remodeling and repairing this home. Thank you for your time, first of all.
Can you speak up louder or
Or
move
just
closer to
stand
the mic?
next to the mic.
I apologize here. I didn't see it. Okay. Once again, my name is Domingo Tolia. I'm the architect who's working with the new homeowner, Pamela Sadler, in remodeling and repairing her home. She purchased a home back in December of last year, about 10 months ago. It's a gem of a home. She fell in love with it. That's why she bought it. However, when she got into it, she found out that it's in complete disrepair. So our objective is to repair it and and keep its character and bring it back to a more contemporary interior so her family can live in there. What we're trying to do is, Sean's presentation covered everything, right? But so now I want to address your comments about the windows, the double hung versus the casement. We don't have any problems with making them all double hung with one exception. Unfortunately, for the two front bedrooms, the egress size for the windows do not work if we make them double hung. We can make new double hung windows for egress up on the side of each bedroom. However, they'll have to be substantially wider. What we try to do is we try to keep similar proportions to what was there before, and in lieu of providing a double hung window, we provided a casement window for egress purposes. What else? Commissioner Glasser, you had some questions regarding the side windows, correct? That's an addition that was done, I believe, back in the 60s, a one-story addition. Those windows were aluminum windows. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to locate the windows in a logical way so that room could be used as a bedroom. And then the newer window, the bigger window that's to the left of those windows is a window that is going to be below a new tub. Therefore, it's a little bit bigger. Right now, they have one window up on top. So that's the explanation about the windows. Now, one thing that I would like you to consider, and it's a request, and I know that you have the, you can update his recommendations if you see it that it makes sense. So here's what we want to do, and we're looking for you to help us if you can, and if not, it's okay, right? But our request is that we will make the front windows wood to match the existing like for like. We're trying to either repair them or replace them with a new window. However, we would like the side windows, we can keep them double hung wherever the egress isn't required. However, we would like them to be a wood window like that with an aluminum powder coated clad in the exterior. And why? We think that it will hold up better during the years. Wood window would fall into disrepair, and it would be a maintenance issue throughout the lifetime of the building. So that's our request. Furthermore, I believe that interior standards the Secretaries of Interior standard for rehabilitation allows for that. In section number 6, it says that new features shall match the old in design, color, texture, wherever possible. So I think that you could perhaps reasonably say that we could find a window that matches what's existing. However, because of this proximity to the beach and maintenance and future upkeep, it might be better to have those cladded with aluminum. And we could make a condition that Mr. Scully would review the window type for size and fitness, basically, before it gets approved. That's our only request, but that's for you to decide. So we'll, any questions?
So the proposed window, it's a casement window, so the wood is in the inside, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
So that looks very different than a double hung window. And I will say that there's probably windows on this house that are probably original to the 1912 structure that have held up fairly well over the years. So much so that some manufacturers are going back to old window design. So my question is, are all windows supposed to be egress or just certain windows are? Okay.
So only the windows that are in a bedroom that does not have a door to the exterior.
Okay.
Okay, and then back to the windows. So they look okay from maybe 20 feet away, but a lot of them are in disrepair with rots, and they need to be replaced, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that they help over time.
Yes.
Windows are okay.
Correct. And also just keep this in mind that the older windows were made with old growth forests, so they're a lot denser and they hold a lot better. Newer windows, if we make them out of wood, they're not as dense as they used to be. Therefore, they're more porous. Therefore, in my opinion, it might be better for the longevity of the building to have a window clad. I believe, in my opinion, once again, that from a distance, from the street or from 5 feet away, the look of the window, the sash and the buttons will look the same as a wood window. Not for the front windows with the crisscross. However, for the other windows, I think that would be true.
And a casement window is also much more affordable than a double hung.
Believe it or not, they're about the same price.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Any questions? Staff, are you okay with their recommendation, or?
Well, it was not easy. We felt we would be a little more conservative and stay with the existing materials and design throughout. As was brought up in the presentation, it's not a significant alteration if we can't view it from the right-of-way, in staff's opinion. So I think there's some windows that could accommodate the alternative design or the alternative design and materials. But then, it leads to a consistency issue in staff's opinion, where you're going to have altering window types, and the integrity, just even though it's not visible, is diminished. That's staff's opinion. So it was staff's opinion that all the windows be either restored, repaired, or if replaced because they have to be moved, they would be of the same type that are on the front elevation, up on that gable, and are existing now. So the wood double hung. So that's staff's recommendation.
What was that last part you said about the wood double hung?
So staff's position is that to maintain the consistency of the replacement windows with the existing windows that are repaired and restored. Mm-hmm. So you don't have alternative window types. Mm-hmm. And that's how the project is conditioned.
Okay. And then I was looking at your plans again, and it looks like you only have 2 double hung windows on your new set. Correct. That are you replacing, so you're keeping the old ones? And is that, or did I read that wrong?
No. The hope is to keep or to rebuild the front windows or repair them, and then have all new windows throughout the house. Now, based on their comments, I think that we could make every window a double hung window with the exception of the bedroom window. And if that needs to be double hung as well, we can make it a little bit wider to accommodate the size for egress. And then also so in my perfect world, I would have all the windows be aluminum clad. Why? Because I think it will last longer. So as opposed to having a house that will last 20 years or will fall up, or will begin to show signs of deterioration within 5 years of the windows, this will last 20 years. That's my thought. So if consistency is an issue, in my mind, I vote for aluminum clad windows, but it's up to you to decide.
So it's going to be aluminum on the exterior as well?
Correct. And what if you decide that that's an option that we can go forward with, what we would do is we would bring a sample of the window, and maybe I can come back to you with it and show you, here's what we're proposing, here's what the size is, and I can compare it to the existing window. So you see that it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. I personally am familiar with aluminum windows, and I think that when you see, when I look at an old home, I actually look at the windows as part of the total, appeal of the older home. And I think that I would like to see the double hung windows on this home. It's beautiful. I'm so excited to see a project come to us where someone's not asking to tear it down. Instead, they want to rehabilitate it. But I think that what would really take this to the next level is those double hung windows, at least where you can see them from the side view. I also feel like that it's revisiting wood windows is a big opportunity, because the aluminum windows have, kind of been pressed on us as consumers. And I think that they do degrade the aesthetic of the structure unless you go for really expensive windows. And so there is a element of, it's kind of, we're told that it's more durable, but I think, there's other options that are just as, I actually put double hung wood windows on my home that was built 3 years ago because of the aesthetic. And, they were more expensive, but they do last. And again, like, this house was been there since 1912 and the windows are still there, and I know they need to be repaired, but they do last.
True. So that's true. Point well made and point well taken, I think. From my experience, there's many different types of aluminum windows, right? And aluminum wood windows. This certain manufacturer is Sierra Pacific Windows. They are they're one of the better ones. And from my experience, once again, I don't think that. And if we talk about price, for the Sierra Pacific windows, the wood windows without the aluminum clad are actually less expensive than the aluminum clad windows. So we're not making a pitch for saving money. I'm just making a pitch for preserving something. That's all. But I put it to you, and it's for you to decide. So I'm not going to tell you I want this. But any other questions?
Is Ms. Sattler going to be addressing us?
Pardon?
Is Ms. Sattler going to be addressing us? I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. Hi, I'm Pamela Sattler, the new owner of this beauty.
So my questions are actually more towards what's going to end up happening with this property. So we've heard that you do not have a Mills Act contract. Is it your intention to seek one?
Yeah, and I have read a little bit about that, and I think that what I read, it was to go through the planning or with the planning department to get that done.
Okay, do we need that in our resolution to put that in there, that we recommend to the council to review and whether the property should be Mills Act?
It could be added,
Okay.
certainly.
And the second thing, how well are you with the neighbors?
The neighbors?
Yeah, because you have two historic landmark properties on both sides of you. And so you have a cluster of a potential historic district. Plus you have on either side of those neighbors, you have an opportunity to even expand it. So if
The neighbor on the south side, I've talked with him a couple of times, and he's just so enthusiastic about please get this project going because it's been the negligence and has been really weighing on him. And we've also met the people on the north side. Yeah. Yeah, and they also are very supportive of what we
So
want to
if
do.
we make this a landmark property, would you be amenable to being part of a historic district with the other landmark properties?
Oh, I thought it already was.
I don't think this is a historic district. We have something on Catalina, but it's a little bit different location.
Historic district is a little different than your own home being a landmark property.
Oh, I see.
So it's a grouping of properties together that form a district, which on that street would be lovely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It really would.
Definitely.
But it does require your written consent, so ultimately, if you go forward with going the Mills Act contract, I think I would ask that if you would consider signing a written consent so that can be part of the record and we can go to the other two owners as well.
Yeah, where do I find that information about what that is?
It's in the ordinance itself. I believe the planning department
District,
actually has
okay.
materials on it.
Yeah, we can
So we're
provide the
looking for
information.
historic district. That's the
Yes.
key word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You would get more time with us, which I know that you very much want, is more time with the planning department.
But it doesn't, as far as we were told, doesn't
That
add
case,
anything
the
to
answer is
anything.
no. I'm not joking.
Okay.
I'm
well,
not joking.
Okay.
It's not anybody's fault, but it has been 7 months. 7 months of just waiting, so.
Yeah, well, it's a different process, but it doesn't actually, as I understand it, add any more restrictions to what you've already been going through for this landmark.
I mean, it
That's
sounds
correct.
lovely, and it sounds like the right idea.
Okay.
It's not going to hold up your,
It's not
Yeah.
going to hold up.
it's not going to
Okay,
hold up
thank you.
your renovation.
It's
Thank you.
completely
'Cause that's a
separate process.
That's
Do
a
you feel
separate
any
thing.
better? Other people that are going through builds and renovations also go through a long process, so.
And have they told you if we approve it today, how long it takes for you to actually be able to start construction? Okay.
No, inform me.
What?
No, do you have the answer to that?
I don't have the answer because there's people you have to work with and your architect will probably.
He doesn't
No, as
know
well.
either.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay, there was a gentleman in the audience who stood up when we took the oath. Do you want to say anything now, or?
I guess I don't.
If you don't have, you don't have to, but if you do, you need to come up to the microphone.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's staff applicant. Are there any members of the public who wish to address this commission with regard to this project? Okay, nobody in person, anybody online?
There's nobody online and there are no e-comments.
Okay. So it says consider the action, so I guess this is our deliberation point of view. Commissioner Colley, do you have any comments or concerns or
I
questions?
appreciate the detail that the homeowner has gone into that's made this much more informative coming into this, getting these materials beforehand. And I think it's a beautiful home, and I think it's a great project. I'm okay with the aluminum windows. I think I understand the wood debate on that, but I think for consistency and timeline of, owning the house, I would want the aluminum. And my understanding is, the windows in the back probably are minimally visible from the street, it seems. And I do agree that it looks like it's been a pretty negligent property for quite some time. And so I would like to see them progress.
Okay. Commissioner Mr. Galassi, you have anything you want to say?
This is a fabulous house. It's fabulous, and it is already. Thank you for undergoing this process. I know that, government works slowly. Sometimes it drives me crazy too. So we appreciate that, you're taking the time, the months, the year, whatever it's going to take to get this done. I think you're going to be very happy, pursuing the Mills Act contract, because that will help you with the upkeep of your home. You're going to see significant savings in your taxes as a result. And that money, that's what the Mills Act was created for, to assist the homeowners in being able to make those continual repairs that a home of this age needs and deserves. And because of this, because, I've served on the Preservation Commission before. I was with Public Amenities. I served for 3 years, and, we need to maintain the consistency with our ordinances and with the Secretary of the Interior standards. And we don't want to begin to set precedents, because that kind of opens a big Pandora's box. And I understand your needs. However, I think if we want to be true to what this commission's work is and what preservation of homes like this is all about, then I would say that, I would be comfortable with the way that our staff has presented the resolution.
Commissioner Rowe?
Yeah, beautiful house. I appreciate that, being a real estate dabbler. I think that the architect's recommendations for aluminum windows are sufficient. I like them. I'm excited about the possibility of a historic district, so love to see that done. But that's all my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Lang?
Yeah, I just want to echo Commissioner Glassie's comments. I'm really excited to see this home repaired, and I drive by this stretch of Catalina all the time and admire these homes. I grew up in a 1920s home in a historical district, and it's really something special to see a cluster of historically, architecturally significant homes together. It really makes, more of a statement than just one or two. So I hope that you pursue that with your neighbors, and thank you for taking on this project.
I will echo the comments of my fellow commissioners. I do have a question for staff, though, before we close out the public hearing. It does mention that we make, in the resolution, it mentions we make findings. I was reading through it and I didn't see what the findings that we're supposed to make were. So am I missing something?
We can pull up the resolution. I think there's a whole list of findings that.
Those are conditions, but.
No, there's findings. Let's see.
Pull that up one moment.
Start in section 2 is where that makes a reference to.
Bear with me.
Might say resolves, the Public Amenities Commission hereby resolves, but let's see. Hereby find, okay, yeah, right there. So go up to the bottom of the first page.
Section 1.
Yeah, now therefore the Public Amenities Commission of the City of Redondo Beach, California does hereby find as follows, and those are your findings, section 1, section 2.
Okay. Okay, so according to the procedures that we're supposed to follow, the next step is to close the public hearing, and then we talk about the resolution. So is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, is there anybody online for,
There's nobody online.
okay, so can we, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Okay, so now we're on step 5, which is, as I'm hearing it today, we have 2 proposals in front of us. One is to adopt the resolution as proposed by staff, and the second is to adopt the resolution but add in language with regards to the aluminum windows. And I think we can determine if we want aluminum windows first and then adopt the whole thing. So is there anybody who would like to speak about? I know Commissioner Rowe has already expressed his preference on it, but is there anybody else that would like to express a preference one way or the other? Okay. I'm not hearing anything.
I think I've already spoken to that. So.
Okay, so why don't we vote aluminum versus, I think you called them double hung wooden.
Yeah, it's actually what the staff recommended too.
Okay, so all those in favor of aluminum, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say no.
No?
No, okay, so we're going to go with the staff recommendation at this point with regards to the windows. And we need somebody to propose it. And you're the normal person to propose it, so do your magic.
I move to adopt the resolution of the Public Amenities Commission of the City of Redondo Beach, California, approving the CEQA exemption declaration and certificate of appropriateness for rehabilitation, repair, removal of unpermitted shed and tenant improvements of a landmark property at 519 South Catalina Avenue, pursuant to Chapter 4, Title 10 of the Redondo Beach Municipal Code.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Although we should do a roll call on these, I guess.
Commissioner Morocco.
Aye.
Commissioner Lang.
Aye.
Commissioner Rowe.
Aye.
Commissioner Galassi.
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Okay, so the resolution is adopted. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoy the house. And thank you for coming. Okay, so now we're going to move to item K on the calendar. We have nothing continued from the previous agenda, so we'll move to item L. And we have 3 items over there. L1 is the election of officers, chair and vice chair. So there usually is a procedure that's thrown into these meetings, so I don't see it here, but I'll just do it by memory, and hopefully I'll do it right. Is there any nominations for chair?
Can we go through who holds the current chair and vice chair? So
Sure.
it's you for vice chair, right?
I'm the vice chair, and
Yusuf Zai is the chair.
Okay. And you hold these seats for a year, correct? Yes. Okay.
And just so you know, oh, by the way, thank you for your presentation.
Yes, thank you.
And good luck on your
Thank you.
future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So I believe they passed yesterday the resolution to change the statutes. And
Yeah, the ordinances, so it's got to have a second reading. Hopefully they'll come back next council meeting, and then it's 30 days after the second reading where it becomes official.
right. So what we have, we're still under the old rules, but it will be likely changed to, it doesn't change much other than what we do internally as far as our committees and stuff like that. So are there any nominations for chair? Hearing none, I will volunteer.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the plan a year ago was I would nominate Ron as the chair.
Being promoted.
I think you've just.
We have a second?
Any other
earned that,
nominations?
yes.
Did Yusufi say anything about Yusufai? Say what he wanted to do. I know he kind of said he wasn't going to be here last
There was no feedback either way.
Okay. Any other nominations?
Are we talking for chair?
Chair. Okay, so we'll close.
Well, I'll nominate Commissioner Galassi.
Okay, do you accept that?
Thank you.
Be president in a year.
Then I will actually withdraw mine because you were like the person that I think.
Oh, it was for vice chair.
Oh, for vice chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, did I say vice chair? I'm sorry. Did I just say chair?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I
We would love Ron to be our chair.
no, I agree with, I would love for you to be chair and Commissioner Galassi to be vice chair. I'm sorry if I misspoke.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I think they're locked in.
Okay.
Let's call it a day.
So I can do it by acclamation or I can do it by roll call. What would you prefer?
We can do a roll call.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Morocco.
Aye. Oh, yes.
Commissioner Lang.
Yes.
Commissioner Rowe.
Yes.
Commissioner Galassi.
Yes.
Commissioner McCauley.
Thank you. Okay, so that's what's happening. And I do want to congratulate you because I told you when you first interviewed for preservation, I wanted to take you onto the Historic Commission, but they found a really good place for you. So I'm glad that you're still here working on this. Okay, now we move up to Director Orta. Discussion and possible action regarding a proposed Walk of History timeline signs project at Dominguez Park, and I'm looking forward to this.
So I do have a presentation.
Is there a slideshow or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one moment.
Loading.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it. Okay, so we have for you tonight the long-awaited Dominguez Park Walk of History timeline signs. I'm going to go through a really brief history of this project and kind of how it was started, where it ended up, and then I'll turn it over to you all for deliberating. So starting, or actually on September 21st, 2022, the former Historical Commission considered a recommendation by its Path of History subcommittee. So there was an active subcommittee at the time, and that subcommittee made a recommendation for the Historical Commission to consider the installation of factual timeline signs throughout the walking paths at Dominguez Park. And you can see in the photo, it's an aerial photo of Dominguez Park. It is an older photo, so bear with me. The playground, this does not show the updated playground area. So, but you can at least see the main walking pathways throughout the park. And so the intent of the proposal was to install historically significant timeline signs throughout the walking path. So as people are walking through the park, they can see signs that have some sort of information that share a historically significant item in the history of the city. So at the time, the Historical Commission did approve the recommendation of the subcommittee and referred it to the former Parks and Recreation Commission. And so just to kind of get a basis for what was considered and recommended, this is a mock-up of the sign that the subcommittee presented to the Historical Commission. And then on the left were examples of historical items that could be listed on the signs. And so these were purely just provided as kind of a conceptual plan for this. This was not formalized in any way, but really just to allow both the Historical Commission as well as the Parks and Recreation Commission an idea of what the project would include and what it could potentially look like. So moving forward on May 10th, 2023, the Parks and Rec Commission, or former, Parks and Rec Commission considered the referral as well as supplemental material. And so this was also included in your agenda packet. So to the right was a supplemental sign that was provided by the Historical Commission Subcommittee or the Path of History Subcommittee of the Historical Commission. And really the main difference here is it's a little bit larger in size, and then it added a potential or the concept of adding in a QR code, which could be linked to a web page that had additional information if someone wanted some additional information on whatever the sign discussed. And so this was shared with the Parks and Recreation Commission when they deliberated on this idea. And at that time, the majority of the commissioners voted in favor of referring this back to the Historical Commission. After their discussion, they felt there was some additional information that they wanted to get from the Historical Commission in order to have a better idea of the full concept itself. And so they referred it back to the Historical Commission with some additional questions, including how many signs. Some of the comments were stating that some people believe there may already be too many signs throughout Dominguez Park. So just kind of high level thinking, how many signs would this program include? Where would the signs be installed? Would it be, every 10 feet on the walking path? Would it be every 5 feet? Just kind of a better idea of where they would be installed in frequency, but then also which walking paths. There's several walking paths through the park. Would it be the main one? Would it be, all throughout? What would the signs look like? Obviously, they did receive the conceptual plans, but I think they were hoping for some additional information on what they could potentially be, the level of information that would be on them. Would it simply just be the titles of the historical item, or would it have some historical information on it? What will the project cost be, and will the city need to utilize its own funds for it? I think the question specifically from the commission at the time was, does the Historical Commission have an opportunity to fundraise to fund the project? And so these were just the questions that arose from the Parks and Recreation Commission's discussion that were referred back to the Historical Commission. As part of that vote, we did have one commissioner who voted in opposition of the project altogether. They just believe there was other times or high priority items that the city, should be considering instead of focusing on this project. And so they weren't necessarily opposed to the project. They just felt there was other items that we should be focusing our attention on. So fast forward to February 14th, 2024. At that time, the former Historical Commission did consider the referral back from the Parks and Recreation Commission. And at that time, the commission decided not to take any action on the item. They didn't necessarily deny moving forward with it, but they, at that time, just didn't want to do anything with that project at that time. And so for tonight, we are here at a request of Commissioner Morocco and a majority of the commission to re-agendize this item for you all to consider whether we should resume discussions on this, and if so, how you would like us to implement the program if there is a desire to move it forward. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and that concludes my presentation.
Do you have any questions? I can supplement the background if you need more information on it.
I have a couple of questions, but I don't know if this is like for, can you answer them now? I don't know. So question number one is, was there ever like a budget put together for this, or?
So I probably should give you a little bit more background on it then, because this came out of a subcommittee that was in the Historical Commission, and I believe Commissioner McCauley was actually the chair of the Recs and Parks. So during the pandemic, we had the museums in Heritage Square closed. And so the idea was to bring outside a lot of the museum stuff so that the kids that come by to go to do their third grade projects, or people who come to the museum and it's closed, would have an opportunity to at least get some historical information. And so that was the initial thing behind it. If you go back 2 slides, yeah, that one. My writing is not the best. This is my writing on the slide. and we were asked to put together a mock-up so that, and this was designed in a way to keep the costs down because we were going to have the sign shop design the signs and put them together, and I was told it has to be 2 feet by 3 feet in order to be able to keep the cost down, that they couldn't do the custom design with regards to what we have, like walking around with the dolphins and stuff. We chose the posts that are, if you look at every single stop sign, you will see that they're up there. The original cost estimate that we received was $200 to $300. By the time it made it to the Parks and Parks Commission, it got up to $500, which I assume included labor costs. You do have.
Is that per post? Per
sign.
Per
sign.
sign, yeah.
It's all done internally, so it just seemed a little bit high. At the time it was initially proposed in September of 2022, the Historical Commission did have a robust budget and monies available that were unallocated, so it could have been done. We were looking at possibly even going to the Beach Cities Health District because it's walking and it's an exercise, and see if we can get a tie-in with that. So the cost was never really a major factor. And unfortunately, I wasn't invited to the Recs and Parks meeting where they discussed it because I would have been able to answer most of the questions. But if you go back to page 114 of the materials, which is item J4, it was being referred from the Historical Commission to the Recs and Parks Commission because it is a park. And the parks people needed to be involved in the decision. And it was referred with specifically, we will let the Recs and Parks people decide what the number of signs they want. We could do hundreds if we wanted to, but we figured that they would be the ones ultimately deciding it. And we do have Bringing History to Commit to the Community Committee here. And it just happens to be that Commissioner McCauley, who was with the Recs and Parks, was on that, and we discussed it, and we decided 8 to 10 would probably be an appropriate number just to get the work out there. So the first question about how many signs, I don't know why there was a miscommunication. We sent it to Recs and Parks so they could tell us, and they sent it back saying, how many do you want? Where should the signs be installed? That's really a staff decision along the pathway. How far apart, where it is, should it be all congregated around the baseball field, should it be spread out throughout, should it be equidistant? That's not something that was on the table. We needed to do it. The signs look like, this was 2022, we're now in 2025, 3 years later, and one of the things we asked staff to do was come up with what a sign looked like based on the mock-up. So we're still dealing with my crude printing on these signs with regards to that, but that's open for discussion ultimately if we do move forward with it. The cost, if it's the original cost $200 to $300 and we do 8 to 10 signs, at one point I was willing to front all the money to get those signs in, but I think there's some costs that are not necessarily they're fixed costs from the city. So, you put something in the ground on a post that we already have, it shouldn't cost that much. There are some costs associated with it again, but it was something that was really negligible on it. And so the money part is not the big hang up on this one. It's really, do we want to move forward with it or not?
So the question for tonight is whether we want to agendize a full discussion with this commission.
We actually voted in our April meeting to agendize this topic.
So this is
the discussion.
We're discussing now. Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of the location, you determined that Dominguez Park was the best place for it because of its proximity to the museum and also to Beach Cities Health District because there are kids there. Were there other locations that were considered as well,
Yeah.
or?
Well, we chose it, thinking that Dominguez Park, because of the historical significance of the house not there, and then also to start with signs there, and then eventually can possibly expand to other locations in the city. But I think that's, if I remember correctly, that was.
Yeah, if you come to the museum and it's closed, you know, rather than wasting all your day there, you can actually get some history of the city.
And 10 seemed easy to do in that location without oversaturating the walkway. And then if there were to be, because there are other locations in the city that already have monuments and plaques there, but it would be, the interesting thing on this was the QR code, which would be good because then it kind of links everything together.
Right.
So you could do, one of the things we talked about was like a walking tour of the city, connecting all the QR codes.
We do have a robust history. It's just that not everybody sees parts of it. And I think one of the other slides kind of shows just getting through the 1920s, a lot of different historical events. And with the QR codes, you can actually do a lot more with regards to telling the story to people.
Instead of having all the sign printed up as much.
Right, of course.
Much more.
So today's discussion is just basically, do we want to move forward with it? And then we work with staff to come up with a better looking design.
Well, you know, we have a fabulous new logo.
Yeah.
Very colorful, fabulous new logo for the middle of that. I love this idea, especially because, you know, we're going to have the Olympics coming and people are going to be coming down to Redondo, and we want to, you know, we want people to be able to access and understand our history. We're not just a beach town. We have history behind us. So that's exciting for me, for other people to know who we are. I'm okay with this program. My question is, are we set on it being at Dominguez Park?
There's a lot of other places you can put this if Dominguez Park was not available and wasn't near the museums. There's some streets, you can put it along the Esplanade, which I think will take away from other things that are over there. This one Dominguez Park did not seem to be distracting to it. I mean, I could see you even putting a timeline in every different park and make it kind of like a scavenger hunt as you put your timeline together. This initially came out of a concept of we can have a mural with the timeline on it, but that's a different direction on it. So this was just a way to get that information out, the historical information.
And also, it took a while to get to this point as well. I would recommend we kind of stick with the way it is right now, with the open-ended we can revisit it and add other locations down the road, you know, because if we start talking now about adding like a second location or other locations, I think then that might just be more involved, because you'd really kind of, well, where would we do it? And that would just kind of involve many more discussions, whereas this is kind of a completed package as it is with these 10 at Dominguez.
Yeah, and I think what would be really smart of us if we do decide to move forward and create a subcommittee is to create a template so that when we're gone or when the staff turns over or whatever and someone says, oh, we really want to do another history marker, they have a template. So we don't have to go back and to the drawing board, and we can just, you know, sort of input the text. We know where it's being, you know, manufactured from. And I know that we're not talking about design, but I would like to say a little something about this example in the packet. So you talked about kids, you know, oh, the museum was closed, the kids have a report. When we put a QR code on something and maybe we don't have the full text, it really eliminates sort of screen-free learning, and I think that's really important to get a sort of away from it. I'm not saying don't put a QR code on it, but I would much rather read about Hotel Redondo opening on a plaque than taking out my phone when I'm at the park, scanning it and reading it on my phone, or maybe trying to show my kid my phone or whatever. I just think it really kind of extends, like maybe you're going to the park, you're going on a walk, trying to be outside, not on a screen, write it up. So that would be my one note about the sign. And yeah, I believe in it. I think it's a great idea. I don't see why not, so.
Yeah, and it may be audio even with the QR codes. You can
Yeah. Well, that
get
would be
the
cool.
stories out there.
Maybe your voice?
Not mine, no. You see how bad I draw. I talk even worse when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah.
But I work with the research librarians are wonderful with the Redondo history, and I'd be working with them. And we'd have a committee that would work on the script too. Is there something you need from us? Or-
I just need a recommendation and direction on whether we should move this forward. And then if that is a yes, how you would prefer us to do it. Assign it to an active subcommittee, create a new subcommittee, have staff try to take a stab at it. We just need to know how you would like to approach it.
I'm happy with the subcommittee we have working on it. As a start, and if somebody else wants to join for that project, we have room for at least one more.
Remind me what the subcommittee is called? What is the subcommittee called? They're not.
Bringing history to the community.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can be on that discrete project if you wanted to, for example.
The next steps are going to be the language for each of the signs, for the QR code or for the actual sign.
I think the next step from us would be figure out
which ones?
What design we want to put on it.
Right.
Obviously the mock-up, and if the sign shop's going to do it, we need to know what their parameters are as well. So originally it was to get staff's input on how to do it so that it's cost effective. So that probably would be, and then the committee would have to take a whole bunch of dates and pick 10 significant ones or 8 significant ones or something in between. And so if we're at the beginning of the process, it's probably going to take at least another 6 months to at least come out with something that we can come back and propose. And these are the dates, this is the script we want to use, kind of thing.
I just want to say one thing. I want to make sure that we have enough time in all these subcommittees to do what needs to be done. I'm going to bring this up at the end when we have commissioner items, because we have actually a lot of work that also needs to happen for the Preservation Commission. And some things need to happen sooner rather than later. So I want to make sure that we have enough
Bandwidth?
Enough bandwidth, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually.
We're missing 2 commissioners here, but yeah.
Who was on that commission with you?
For the community
history, yeah.
Commissioner McCauley.
Okay.
I was surprised when I was reading the September minutes from the Historical Commission how much we actually got done when things got brought to us on the agenda. So I have my own proposal for going forward, but this is part of what when we did the presentation, we're checking off things, the Wilderness Park things with the council, the Path of History is going forward with staff. We're finally getting museum reports. I understand that we're getting close to getting the Edo Park. So things are getting done. And I like the way that we're able to at least bring them to you guys and you can prioritize from that.
Are you comfortable with yourself and Commissioner McCauley here?
Yeah, if somebody else wants to join, that's great. I have a couple other committees I'm going to be proposing, so.
I would be happy to kind of advise on the design or figure out, how we can make that work for within our price range, whatever that is.
Yeah, we would welcome that.
I got one question. In fact, I agree with more text on the signs for the phoneless enjoyment. I agree with that, so I appreciate your design input. Just to make sure there's no safety concerns with having 10 signs in a park, people running around, any chance of any interference of people in those metal poles?
I think our bigger problem is going to be dogs peeing on the sign.
What's on the sign?
The dogs
Oh,
going up to the sign. It's 4 to 5 feet from the ground.
Yeah.
So it can be higher or lower. It's basically the same sign as what's there right now.
Well, I don't spend much time there. I'm just envisioning what Perry Park had the skateboarders running into the playground. Whoops. I'm making sure there's no whoopses here when we have people running back and forth in this park, but just FYI, just my concerns, if there are any.
That could be where the sign locations, you take that into account when we
Yeah,
put
I'm
them
just
up.
thinking, wow, our kids are they playing games of tag or whatever we don't know about, and all of a sudden we're interfering with activity that goes on there, and the signs are in the way of something happening.
Yeah.
Random skateboarders or e-bikes or whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Okay, so are there any further discussions? Any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we move forward with the walking timeline and work with staff to come up with designs and or cost estimates for it too.
Second that motion. Good motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, do you have enough guidance for this at this point?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and look forward to working with you on this one again. Okay, so now we are up to Commission Subcommittee Review and Project Update. Okay, so do we have a list of all the committees?
Should be
that
in
we
the
have?
administrative report.
Oh, is there an administrative report?
That link doesn't go to anything.
I don't think I saw one that specifically addresses it. Oh, here we go. You're right. It's on page 119.
And actually, we had Commissioner Lang on that, bringing history to the committee. So that was,
Oh, we already made.
Okay.
so you're there already.
Okay.
There you go.
This was just for a couple of things. One is obviously updates. We were waiting to see if the ordinances would go through and passed. I know there's a recommendation that we bring back the committees as a whole to have a discussion. That's currently not on the agenda. This is just for updates from the subcommittees. One other item that we would want to address when we bring it back is we were asked for some clarification regarding the maybe a little description of what each subcommittee does, so that it makes it more clear to the public what we're doing and updating. And that, again, doesn't have to be decided tonight. We plan on bringing a subcommittee report. We are waiting on the ordinances to be updated. So tonight, this is just specific to any updates that anyone has. It's currently representing the subcommittees that they might want to update us on progress.
So are we reformulating? I know we've talked in the past, like we said park ranger, for example, that is.
Well, we were going to bring back the subcommittees as a discussion item in the future after the ordinances got passed, because we were in the process of, council was in the process of reviewing the bylaws and rules for the commission. So we have not brought back the discussion of the whole subcommittee as a topic. So this is just in regards to updates to the current subcommittee. So if the subcommittees have updates on their progress, this would be the time for that.
Okay, because I was under the impression we actually had the council approve the first go round on it. So
right, and there's a second reading, and then 30 days after that, it becomes official.
Right, and so they did publish the purpose of the intent, which is kind of, if our committees, our subcommittees are consistent with that, can we adopt the word sub and just call them committees? Because
sure,
you just need, That implies that there's a committee that's overall on top of it, so.
Do we want to go through the list of
Yeah,
committees
like
and
the
see what this
minor
is?
alterations, I think is a requirement. And that's Commissioner Galassi and Lang. Do you guys still want to continue on with that?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, so there's room for one more, if one of the other two commissioners that are not here today can go on. Facilities User Subcommittee.
Oh, yeah. Me and Commissioner McCauley are on that.
Yes, and so is Commissioner Galassi.
I think it's useful when we meet.
That's what it says there.
So can I speak for an update on that?
Sure.
So annually, we usually about this time of year try to have a meeting where we meet with some of the youth groups to discuss their concerns. And I just wanted to let our commission know that I'll be beginning the organization of that meeting, hopefully to take place. Usually we've done it in October. I think that might be a little bit too soon. So hopefully before Thanksgiving would be the goal. And then I'll keep you guys on the committee. We'll let you know when and where. And hopefully we'll have a good meeting.
How do you usually pick that date? Do you reach out to them and see what works for them, or do you
just kind of give them like 2 or 3 days and 2 or 3 options,
and then
be
they
like,
choose?
and
Okay.
what works best for everybody. It's a pretty informal meeting. We have had bigger meetings in the past, but I think it's kind of dwindled down to the baseball and soccer for the most part, and occasionally there was rugby, but I don't think there is rugby in Redondo anymore or in our parks. But we reach out to all of the youth groups, and so we'll do that again, and then we'll hear their concerns and get any updates from them and see how we can help them.
Do you have a liaison, or does the youth commission have a liaison to this committee?
The youth commission, no. This is we talk to the presidents of the league.
Okay, so this is the adult stuff.
Yeah, we talk about the structure of the use of the parks, facilities, and interactions with Public Works is a big part because Mike comes to the meeting as well, and so that's pretty helpful. Usually the rotation of the volunteers is so you get new leaders of the league, and then they kind of don't know how to talk to the city or whatnot, and we just kind of bridge that gap a little bit. And then if there's any issues that they are concerned about, then they relay that to us, and then we can try to help.
Okay.
So that would be, and I'll say this going forward, one of the big issues going forward is the concerns of the power lines coming down on 190th and seeing that property can be turned into youth fields, ball fields of some sort.
Are you guys going to be involved with the discussion about the new Redondo Park as far as what kind of amenities there?
I mean, because if it's not already existing as for a user group, I know for sure the youth groups in the past, that location, but that's a hill. I believe where the mayor was, right? That's the top of that hill going down by the side. That's not a useful property for youth sports, because of the incline. The bottom where the power plant is, now I know that's still up years away and up for grabs or whatever, what that is going to turn out to be, but that's flat, and there was some of the hope is that some of that land would include some portion of it for youth ball fields.
Or in North Redondo, but there's a lot of flat land under the power lines.
Yeah, the power lines for sure, because they are coming down at some point, and they might actually come down first before the power plant. And then there's the right of way. There's a lot of issues, as the city manager alluded to the last time he spoke. This is still years away, but it's still an issue that it'd be best to try to iron out what can be done up there and see where the leagues are. But yeah, for sure, the land, the flatter land at the top of 190th has already been kind of surveyed loosely by volunteers. And there is space where the nurseries are that are leaving, that space can be it can fit fields. I know they're putting a bike path through there, but it can also fit smaller soccer fields or baseball fields.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that once those power lines come down, there's going to be a lot of people interested in putting housing there. And I think maybe it would be worth it to put together a lot of the data, like how many children those youth groups
I think
service or serve. And
the primary concern, the primary answer or a primary thing that I would tell anybody is, right off the bat, we all know that Redondo is a park shortage or park short, I forget what the term is. Park poor. And we've, that's why we have that fee that we charge developers, right? When the NIMBY Act, I think it is, where if you're building a property in Redondo, you have to pay a little bit for.
Oh, Quimby fees, yeah.
Quimby. And the, what is it? NIMBY,
what are you paying for?
Yeah, right. It's getting late, but anyway, yeah. So that being whereas the city's short of parks, or short of land for parks, anything, there's a lot of land that's coming up that should not probably put condos on it. It should probably have something for the community.
Right.
And so the hope is there's a lot of people that still support that. And I don't think that's going to go away.
And also just to note, I think that it must be a typo because I was on the facilities user subcommittee, but it says Galassi.
Yeah,
Do you remember putting yourself on it? No.
That's why I'm saying,
Okay.
I don't
Do
remember
you want
that.
I swap it? So you're now doing it?
I think Commissioner
Commissioner Lang?
Lang is brilliant for that position.
Okay, so we're going to substitute Commissioner Lang onto that. Okay, anything else on the,
We'll find out after the meeting. We'll report back.
okay. Volunteer Acknowledgement Program, Commissioners
Yeah,
Rowland Caldwell.
that's going, it's really a one-person committee. It's a few hours a week. I'm going to work on it this month, but I'll have some updates next month. I'm going to get some applications in to us in 30 days.
So you want that continued into the next?
I apologize. That's the update, and please, let's continue.
Okay.
We have money spent, and we have hardware to be handed out.
Okay, great. And then the bringing history to the community, we talked about during the last thing. So now that we've got a couple of projects that have moved off, we can keep on going with that. Franklin Park Playground Subcommittee, Commissioners Lang, Caldwell, and Gillespie.
Yeah. So you basically heard from Director Orta on the update of what's happening for Franklin Park earlier. So that I have nothing additional.
Do you want the committee to continue on in the next year?
The committee needs to continue on until the park is finished.
Okay.
So.
The Public Amenities Bylaws Subcommittee, I don't know if that needs to be continued at this point, since it sounds like the ordinance is clearly taking up what we would normally have, and the Code of Conduct is taking up the same stuff. So what's your thoughts? Do we need to continue that?
I would
resurrect it if it turns out that we would.
Yeah, I would recommend a dissolution of that committee, and with the option to bring it back in the future if there are concerns. But I do not believe that with the current state of things and the ordinance that are coming forward or will be finally approved, that we'll need it.
Okay. Alta Vista Park Pickleball Subcommittee, that's
Yes.
you. Do you want to continue it on?
We need to continue it on. We actually have a meeting set for October 15th with the pickleball ambassadors from surrounding towns. It's a little roundtable for them to come and tell us about their programs, what their successes are, what the challenges are. Director Orta and I came up with, I came up with questions from, the pickleball players, things that they would be asking that we need to know about. And she came up with questions that she's going to ask staff from the neighboring towns. So we're starting off with the pickleball ambassadors with a meeting on October 15th, roundtable with them. And then we're going to take it from there and see what the next step is. The objective is really to have a rollout that is successful for us, right? We want to try and avoid any pitfalls and make sure we have a strong program that respects the players, both the tennis players and the pickleball players, as well as the surrounding community and other sports that are played there. So yes, we're continuing on.
Okay, do you have a Facebook page for the pickleball community?
So there's way back when, I opened up a Redondo Beach pickleball page on Facebook, which I have been adminning. We do not have what's that other one? The Instagram. We don't have an Instagram yet, but we should be doing that too. I don't know if that'll be part of Parks and Rec. Those are some of the discussions that we're going to be having, is who is going to be doing the community outreach for pickleball, whether if it's going to come from the commission side, if it's going to be a combination of commissioner and our Redondo Beach pickleball ambassador and our staff. So those are all discussions that need to happen.
Okay. Are there any other committees that you all think we should be adopting?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. As a matter of fact, I made some notes here. Let me put on the glasses so I can read them. So, in the last couple of months, we had a lot of discussion around the survey, right? That's 30 years outdated. I think that we as a commission need to come up with a recommendation to council. We need to discuss it together and come up with a recommendation that we will put forward to council as to the rationale behind why this needs to happen sooner rather than later, move it up the list. The money is there, it's allocated, but they do want to hear from us. We need to let them know what our challenges are. And some of those challenges we have already experienced, which is people don't know that their homes are on the list. Mm-hmm. And that creates a lot of problems, both for them and for us. People also don't know how to designate their house. They don't even know that they can designate their house. And some of those issues are that but the Preservation Commission staff, we have fallen behind in communicating with our community. So I have some ideas here that I put down. Some can happen right away. For example, I went to our city website and noticed that the preservation program is kind of buried. So if you want to go look for it, you're not quite sure where to go to. So I wanted to recommend that, we don't have anybody here, but I wanted to recommend that it go directly on our landing page. I have it here somewhere. So that people can find that information immediately. I would recommend that we have a preservation subcommittee to do the following. Assist in creating informational material and a letter that would be sent out to people regarding the survey, the historical resources survey. Approve it by the commission. Work on letters to, that's part of that one. And also assist with mailing that information out to those homeowners. Creating a community-wide informational video, utilizing volunteers in AV, perhaps, Redondo students, making it available on the city website. was going to recommend that we have within each district at their community meetings that we have representation by one of the commissioners to talk about preservation so that when people come to these community meetings, they can begin to understand our program. I would like to aim for, in June, we have that Riviera Festival, what's it called, this? South, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think it is Riviera.
So they have all these booths, and I would like to, aim to have a booth there for preservation and historical information. So I think that that's something that would be good to work on. And regarding the survey, I already mentioned that we should have a formal request to the council by the commission to move that survey up the list. So, as an example, we looked at 1224, I think it was Harper, that house that we approved to remove from the list. Well, there's also another house on that street, and that was on the list as well, and I drove down the street to go take a look at it, and lo and behold, it's not there because it was demolished a long time ago, and a Tall and Skinny was put up there. However, our list still reflects that that house is on there. So I think that we have a lot of work to do, and I would recommend that we create a preservation subcommittee to be working on these things.
So you're actually in line with what my first note over here is. We need a research and promotion of historical districts and landmark committee, because sometimes this, as we see, Sean O'Rourke is not going to be with the city with us in a couple weeks, and we're going to be back in the situation with our fourth person covering it, or fifth person. So when it comes up that something needs to be researched, that we have the ability to volunteer and provide that information. So I agree with you. I think we just need something that can focus on researching the properties and then promoting it. I'm going around now to all the demolition built permits over there, and I'm comparing it to Zillow, and this is something Commissioner Road seems to, because he's a real estate person, seeing when the house was built that's being demolished. And there's a lot of homes being demolished, at least in North Redondo, that are in that gap period. So yeah, just documenting. So I think it'd be better just as a research and promotion kind of committee, that we can do this stuff, lend our services to the community development department in a formal structure. Anything else on your list of?
Well, no, that was, basically, the committee would be, would have several arms, let's say. And, part of it would be to help our staff, right? Take some work off of them, because some of the reason why the communication hasn't gone out is because they're busy, right? And so if we can help them, because obviously we have the list of all the homes, if we can begin to put some wording together and assist them in the mailing, I think that would be really important. But the larger thing is that we have to approach the council. So we need to get together as a subcommittee, come up with what the recommendation would be, then present it to the full commission for our agreement. And then, I guess you as the chair would go to the,
so this would be kind of like we did with the library budget stuff.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to jump in here and say, as the liaison, I don't want to speak for the department, and it sounds like these are really good intentions. I think in order for it to be successful, I'd really like to have the department here to speak to the subcommittee to make sure that everything's prioritized and that they can allocate whatever the staff needs are for it. So I'm just, reluctant to move too far forward without some information from the department. I know if another liaison was here and the discussion went on about the library, I certainly would want to be involved in that discussion, especially about this. But I do think that much of your concerns are that of the department. But I would just want to make sure that the department were here to speak to some of the concerns and could provide a little bit of guidance before forming a subcommittee specifically on this. I was thinking maybe we could bring it back as an item as a discussion topic separately so that we can flesh out some of these details. As it is now, we're kind of addressing the highlights of the current subcommittees, but I don't feel comfortable without having the department here to speak to some of these concerns, but I think they're all very valid.
Well, I have a
think what
question.
we're bringing out is just the ideas.
Sure.
At this point, and
right.
Does a staff person need to be present for a subcommittee to meet?
No.
Not to me,
Okay.
no.
So I think just listening to all the stuff that Commissioner Glassy was talking about, the problem is we don't have the staff time available to kind of give the direction that we need. And actually what I'm noticing is because we folded in so many commissions, it's actually us individuals that are like starting to take on a lot of the extra kind of work, right? And so I think what we need is to put all of our ideas down in terms of preservation and the holes that we're missing when we're up here making decisions, and then approach staff and saying, these are all the things that we need help with, and these are our ideas that we've come up with after sitting in, 3 or 4 of these preservation items. I actually feel like if we brought in a staff person here to hear what we're talking about, I think it would just be more work that they needed to go do and then come back to us. And I think I would feel comfortable creating this subcommittee and meeting a couple times and, refining the ideas, honing in on what we think would be helpful, especially from our point of view, like what we need to make our decisions and maybe what the staff, it would be helpful. Because one thing I did write down, especially after that first woman came up and was talking about that house and you looked it up and it was a C rating, was that the argument can go both ways. Like in the other discussion about that really old Harper home, they said, oh, well, it was just a street view observation. And so the street view observation is what categorized that house as a C. And so it's really hard when, it can go both ways. Like there's nothing to point to, I think. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I think we can, with all due respect, I think we can still form the committee. We're under the old rules, the new stuff hasn't kicked in yet. And we can, if you plan on having any progress between now and the next meeting we form the committee, I would form the committee now and then do what needs to be done in the meantime. And then, staff can advise us on how do we need to tweak it. But I would say, because we're about to eliminate a committee, right? We have to vote to eliminate a committee if we're getting rid of aren't we getting rid of one of the committees tonight?
Well, the idea was to, right.
Yeah, so if we're getting rid of a committee, we can also just, at the same time, in the same motion, really just add the new committee.
What I'm hoping to get out of this discussion is all your ideas for other committees that we can do, because that really is going to frame the discussion because everybody has limited bandwidth on it. I look at old minutes and so I can see there used to be an education committee that did exactly the same thing that you're proposing. And one of the reasons I want those minutes in there is because he answered a lot of questions like, are we proactive or reactive? And that's kind of, we're at a crossroads where we would like to be more proactive rather than, we spend a lot of time on this, these landmarks. It's like, well, let's be proactive in that process. So I would like at least you all to throw out all the different ideas for the possible committees, and we can have a discussion even tonight about whether we want to move forward with any of those or want to, as our liaison suggests, table it until the next meeting. But I appreciate you coming up with the specific stuff. And if anybody has any other ideas for committees, and everything you said, by the way, fits into what the purpose of this committee is, of this commission is, of the new stuff too. So.
Yeah, it's just, you know, a couple of meetings ago, we had the preservation plan before us, right? It was part of our agenda packet. And I studied that quite well and realized that we're not doing a lot of what that preservation plan details. And that's why we're in the predicament that we're in, and it's no fault of ours. And, you know, this has been a learning process now. I'm like year 4 doing it. So I'm realizing things now that I didn't know before. But, you know, the objective obviously is to strengthen our program, to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the preservation program, for the people who have these homes that are designated or want to be designated, and to maintain some level of consistency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner McCauley, do you have any ideas or things you want to have a committee to focus on?
For any areas that I'm interested in?
Yeah, and that fall into Parks and Recs, historical, preservation, or library.
Well, I mean, I think the committees are good in the sense that they serve the purpose of, you know, there's only so much bandwidth with this Public Amenities Commission, and the preservation issues are extensive when they present themselves to the meetings. They gobble up a lot of the time. And so I think anything we can get done in committee and then bring issues to the commission to expedite issues is a good idea. And I think for the youth sports or for the Parks and Rec stuff, I do think there are probably issues that we are missing that's falling that we're not even aware of. But I think through as far as adding anything else, I don't think we need to add any more for the public or recreation and parks. I think we're covered on that. It's just a matter of, you know, just competing for the bandwidth. And so we are kind of stretched, which is fine. We knew going into this commission that it was going to kind of be like this. So I think the preservation portion of the committee would be a good idea. And so I think we should add that. And I think we should also eliminate the other committee tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Rowe?
Just some commentary. You know, I think I'm learning that people don't know about historic designations and Mills Act. And I mean, roughly how many houses do we have that are landmark?
115.
They're historic landmarks.
They're historic landmarks. They're indicated on both the survey.
I should know this. How many are up for possibility of getting such designations?
I think there was 1,400 in the 1996 survey, and that was North Redondo. About 1,400. And if you take the time period between 1950 and 1975, which are now eligible, that number is going to skyrocket. That's why it's cost so much to do the
I'm interested in the outreach to get these people to know, at least the ones who have the older houses. I can't, 1,400, but I agree with your passion to outreach to these people who need to know that they have eligibility ahead of them, right? It's just my top of mind thinking. I don't have anything else to add for any committee at this point. I just wanted to ask these couple of questions here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lang?
I don't have any recommendations for additional subcommittees. I think, I mean, the Franklin Park one came up, and that's like a project. And so, I feel very passionately about the play structures and the parks for the kids. And so if we can continue to bring those, form those when we need them, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
That one will fall off soon.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that's done, that'll be,
So
We're not too far away from that.
I have several that I think we need to bring up again. And the one that I liked the most that was from the Recs and Parks Commission was that Park Ranger Committee. And it keeps on popping up and then getting buried. And it's like, oh, we got to wait for the budget or whatever, but it never comes back. And I would like to see some consistency because I think our parks do need somebody that's there that can be a resource for people over there.
I was on that subcommittee, and I think what ended up happening is, again, you have all these people and you're trying, I was on the subcommittee, and then it was a staff liaison, and then Commissioner Yousafzai, and it was like trying to figure out a time where everyone could meet, and then additionally scheduling with like the police or the other, it was like very difficult. And so I almost feel like if a couple of committee members can get together and do a little bit of research ahead of time, it would make everything go faster. But when there's so many people whose schedules you have to coordinate, things really slow down.
Yeah, but I think it's something worthwhile to keep moving forward because it keeps on dropping off.
Yeah.
And you could see like the walking through history timeline, 2022 is when it first started, and it's now 2025. So if you keep on waiting for the budget cycle to be in sync, you're going to miss out again on it next year. I also think, and I've had this conversation with you, I think we need a tree landmark committee. We have some amazing trees in our community, and it would be nice to, either develop the canopy ordinances for recommendation to the council because we don't want to step out of our lane. But there are some trees that are worthy of being landmarked themselves that are just pretty amazing trees, and figuring out if we do landmark a tree, what the protocols we should be recommending to the council with regards to if somebody wants to modify or chop down the tree. When I moved into Redondo, there was a line of palm trees that was on a straight line from 190th down to like Harriman. And that was, now slowly they're all getting removed. We had a tree that was a Christmas tree. It always had a Christmas tree light on at the corner of Blossom and Harriman. And all of a sudden I'm walking by and it's like, I'm not on the street with the tree, but no, turns out it was chopped down. And it's some of these older homes like the 1224 has a wonderful mature tree in front of it that's gonna be going by the wayside. So I think we need some sort of tree landmark committee, start small in our lane, and then as we progress and get some more feedback from the community, then maybe expand it into something even bigger. But most of our historic homes do have nice trees with them. So I think we need something like that. I had suggested 2 meetings ago that we need to actually have some sort of recognition program for our landmarks. Some places have, historical plaques on their homes, but then you have to walk all the way up to the home and invade somebody's space. So I was looking into creating a brick that's kind of standard. It has the city logo on it and says the landmark, whoever home it was named after in the year that it became a landmark. And I got an estimate from the city about how much it would cost to open up a piece of concrete and insert the brick in, and because bronze tends to get stolen nowadays a lot. So it's something that's doable, and get sponsors on that as well. So I think that would be helpful. I'm going to continue doing my research, as I said, like 10 minutes, almost 8 to 10 meetings ago on the properties and just putting together history. I'm doing one on 1224 right now because I thought that the professional report missed a lot of the history and it needs to be supplemented. So that's something I can offer to community development without taking any of their bandwidth. If they tell us that they're bringing one of these projects up, we can start on that process of getting them historical information. So those are some of the things that I think we can probably add without causing too much detriment for at least a year. I do respect your opinion that we should go with the ones that we have right now, abandon the one that we said we're going to abandon, and then bring to the next agenda when we have our two other commissioners who may have some input as well, actually voting for these additional committees, and gives people an opportunity to think of anything else that they want. So that's my recommendation, but.
So don't add anything tonight, just eliminate, and then wait till we have a full commission to vote to add.
We're going to eliminate the bylaws one because I don't think we're going to have that. And then come back next week and I'm willing to work with you, Commissioner Galassi, to flush out your proposal to make it so that it's not too threatening to staff, because I know Commissioner Caldwell has expressed concerns that we don't give direction to staff.
Right. And that was definitely not my intent. My intent is always to be a vehicle through which staff can achieve. We can achieve more because we're here.
Right.
And we care. And, my brain's not working at this point.
Yeah.
So I had written down all these notes, which, half of them came out of my mouth and the other half, I don't know. But there is a lot more, obviously, that, if we could get together and really come up with like a much more succinct and well-worded thing that we would present to staff next time. So obviously not meant to be threatening at all, but to be helpful and to help us to do our job, because that's, even, Commissioner Caldwell even expressed it in the last meeting, that he feels frustrated, right? That every time we get to these same problems over and over again because of this survey that's 30 years old, right? But let's,
Yeah. So I would recommend, and if somebody wants to make the motion, that we agendize the actual formation of new committees and maybe get in our minutes some of these ideas, and then at our next meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, so any comments from the commission before? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And so that moves forward, and that brings us to.
Make a motion to eliminate the public amenities bylaws subcommittee.
I'll second that. I'm on that committee. Any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that's eliminated at this point. And if you can convey to Commissioner Yusufi and Caldwell that we're looking at forming new committees at the next meeting, and if they have any ideas to be prepared to discuss it, that would be great. Okay, so where does that leave us now? Item M, items from staff.
I have no items.
Okay.
Except for this is National Banned Book Week, and we have a nice display at the library. There was some confusion, and I've had this forever, and that is that some individuals see the display and think we're banning books. We're not banning books, quite the opposite. We invite people to read banned books, and we're all for intellectual freedom.
Goodbye Moon is a banned book.
Not.
Saw that in the display case.
No, I'd have to research that.
That was my biggest concern when I was on the Library Commission, that we would have to make some public determination about banned books. So I'm glad we didn't have to do that. Do you want to share about your presentation to the District 4 people?
Well, I was at the District 4 meeting. Councilmember Obaji invited me to speak about the library goings-on, especially North Redondo. I'm sorry, it's getting a little late for me as well. But I was very happy to present, and gave me an opportunity to field questions and input. Commissioner Galassi was there, and I'd be happy to speak at any future district meetings as well. It was a good opportunity, and I appreciate the council member inviting me.
Great. Okay, any commission member items or future commission agenda topics? I'll start with Commissioner McCauley.
No.
Okay, Commissioner Galassi.
I just wanted to add a couple of things to regarding the community meeting, which was wonderful. So we heard a little bit about sensory rooms. And
Right.
so I went and I did a little bit of research. They're adaptive semi-secluded rooms. And if you go on Harbor Gateway, if you Google Harbor Gateway sensory room, you can actually see what that's about. So is that something that you're continuing to pursue, or?
We are. There was a staff report that was a preliminary investigation identifying funding options, locations, and resources. I think part of that, so the short answer is yes, we're continuing to pursue that as an option for specifically Main Library. North Branch is a little tight on space, but Main Library, yes.
And then literacy for adults.
So I've met a few times over the last year with a group that I've been familiar with for a long time. That's the South Bay Literacy Council. And with our first initial meetings, we've actually had some crossover in that they've come to our library to present on opportunities for tutors. But my goal is to hopefully bring them into the Redondo Beach libraries to provide. They already will provide literacy instruction to adults, but I'd like to have a more formal, established relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been hearing that a lot, and like I said, it's a really nice opportunity because they're both looking for volunteers, and they also are looking for people that would like to take advantage of the service. So that's something that we're continuing to explore. They're a wonderful group, and I've enjoyed working with them in the past. They're completely nonprofit, and their goal is adult literacy.
Is the thought to reach out to the community here and to see if there would be volunteers to?
They are always recruiting, and we've held a couple informational meetings, but we'll do that again. I'll talk to our adult programming librarian, but yes.
Okay. And then, I mentioned earlier this evening about the fact that, our preservation program information is kind of buried a little bit on the website. So I was wondering if it could be, this question, I don't know who you would ask to, but there's a bar at the top, Home Government Departments Community. So under Community, if there could be a link right under Community that goes directly into Historic Preservation Program.
We could definitely make that, get that communicated to the
I think it might
department.
be a little easier for people to find that information. And that's it for me.
Okay, Commissioner Rowe?
No additions, thank you.
Commissioner Lang?
I have no items.
Okay. I have 2 items.
Okay.
And I want to bounce this off you. It's not a directive. It's basically, hey, not everything that we do needs a staff report to it. And for example, if I wanted to present something that we agendized with a commissioner report instead of the staff report,
right.
If there would be a way to, say, hey, we're going to agendize something, and so we can find out if the staff wants to do it. If the staff doesn't want to do it, we can have the commissioner do it, and it gets put on the agenda so things don't linger on for months and months and months. Because if we do agendize it, the whole point is that we can't discuss it until it's on the agenda, and there may be something that once we have the discussion, we don't end up going anything further.
Duisiac dedication was an example of that. You brought that item forward with the research you presented, was discussed and moved forward. So absolutely, we definitely, when possible, like to bring the staff in on those items, but you're absolutely right. It doesn't have to have a staff report, but I would work with Commissioner, so, I mean, ideally, when there's a particular item where it's not designated to a committee, and maybe one of the commissioners with buy-in from the commission wants to agendize something without a committee, then what we could do is work, I myself as liaison, work with the commissioner on a timeline to bring that forward and try to include the departmental liaison if possible, but you're right, a staff report's not needed.
Because we talked, I think, last week about this Google Docs of all the different projects that we have going on.
Right.
And some of them are not going to take more than 10 minutes to discuss. But it would seem that if we could put everything on the agenda that we say we want agendized, that it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to end up discussing it at the next meeting, but it does keep it there if we do want to discuss it, or if, I want some guidance from the commission on how to make the next step, or if we present something and the staff says, hey, we want to undertake this, report. Is there a way to do that so that we at least keep everything moving forward?
Well, let me take that under advisement. We did review, so not to make it sound like no work happened between last commission on it. We did review the minutes, and I think we were able to come up with a list that we have been communicating with other departments on the status of those. So we're trying to get feedback on that, and I will take that under advisement, but if there's, so I will also say that a lot of those things, as you mentioned earlier, are in the process of being addressed or have been addressed already. So I do think the commission's making a lot of progress. But we're reviewing with the departments the best way to move forward. So again, the commission is obviously being effective, not directing staff, but at the same time working at balance with the staff to accomplish things, especially things that both staff and the commission have identified as a priority.
Okay. The other thing that if you can bring up with the Community Development Department, so they publish, when we get these landmark stuff, they publish a notice of public hearing and it's on people's homes. And at that point, the materials are public, even if we don't have the agenda packet. Is there some way that we as commissioners, since it's already said this is going to be on this date, can we get the materials before the agenda is published so that we can study it and see what we want to do with it? Because it is out there in the public already. So it's not like it's not like we're violating the Brown Act. We're just getting what we would normally get as a public member.
I think it's a very interesting idea, and I don't see why not. I want to speak for them, but I do think that as much for information as possible, especially given the fact that it is a public document, it is something that's advertised and legally has to be so. But I'd want to confirm with the department, but it sounds like a good idea.
Okay, that's all I have. Okay, anybody else before I make a motion to adjourn? And I do apologize for keeping you longer than normal, but we actually got through a lot of stuff. So I'm going to, our next meeting is going to be held at 6:30 p.m. on November 12th in the Redondo Beach Chamber at 415 Diamond Street. It's the intention of the city to comply with the Americans with Disability Act in all respects. If anybody, an attendee or participant at this meeting needs special assistance in what's normally provided, the city will attempt to accommodate you in every reasonable manner. Please contact the city clerk's office at 310-318-0656 at least 48 hours prior to the meeting to inform us of your particular needs and determine if accommodation is reasonable. Please advise us at that time if you need accommodation to attend or participate in meetings on a regular basis. And an agenda packet is available 24 hours a day at www.redondo.org under the city clerk. So is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so we are adjourned. Thank you.
All right.